Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at Juroud Arsal, Lebanon. Interesting scenario, mainly sort of because I picked this up before it was news, when it was sort of a government announcement, I think in these two links, and now it's actually a coordinated effort between Lebanon and Syria with Hezbollah. And so actually the only thing I didn't have were the Hezbollah units. I pretty much got the displacement here correct. I mean, you can sort of see it here. So, and you can sort of almost see the three-dimensionality of the whatever. So this is sort of where they are. And I think I've pretty much got that. So yes, so I'm going to sort of have a blast on this. And what is sort of interesting actually is this video. Which shows Hezbollah as a flag with this sort of porty type artillery, and it just strikes me as so apocalyptic because it's just the wasteland. I mean, I'm not saying it is wasteland, it's desert, but it's, you know, I mean, listen, it's just the desolate wind. Watch this thing go ape crap. You know, that's not particularly firm footing. I mean, that one went right over the top, and the next one falls short, and that's because they're on a truck and it's just going all over the place. So, I mean, they might as well not bother aiming. Sort of point it in the general direction. But clearly they're sort of pounding this ridge, and you would have thought that the bad guys would have probably gone on the other side of it until it finished. But anyway, I might include that video because it just sort of sums it all up really. I mean, look at that. What's no point? You know, you couldn't get much more of a safer explosion if you tried. These might as well be explosions on the surface of Mars. Are those? I thought I saw some people down here. Or is that bushes? Because quite often they sort of walk around, don't they? You see them walking around as though they really don't care. I might include that video in it, I haven't just yet. But anyway, so there's the Hezbollah units with their porties. We've got Syrian Army and all sorts there. Now, they weren't supposed to be working together, but they are now, so which makes it quite convenient. So let's start off with some of that Hezbollah porty action. I'm not sure that I can replicate the sort of the big cloud dust and the bouncing around of the chassis, but we'll give it a go. Okay, well, obviously my simulation isn't as good. .45, so that puts him up to 2.35. Okay, we'll get the Syrian and the Hezbollah artillery onto this. Point 1. And nothing. Point 4-5. Okay, so now the Lebanon forces. I'm going to split this up into 2 groups. No, that's not what I wanted to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might be able to get it because sometimes it doesn't work properly, but no, he's out of range for that. Okay. Yeah, it might be because he's got no movement left. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's out of range, but sometimes it sort of works. Okay, so that's that. So, the game is afoot because Hayat Tahrir al-Sham know that the pressure's on, as do these other ISIS units. So, now the thing is, he can either stay there, but he's only got 0.1 depression, so he's going to, I think, move away a bit in this direction. Now, essentially, these units will sort of have to stay in this sort of area, but he's going to try and recover. Okay, so we've got some rockets there. Okay, what I've done there is basically just faffed around a bit, but I'm trying to sort of disperse them all. Now, I don't want to move them out of here because we're assuming this is all sort of a little more civilized, a little more exposed. But we're sort of trying to sort of come through this gap and maybe through here. And they've got to pretty much stay in their battle groups, otherwise they'll get surrounded and attacked. But the further we move away from this border, the harder it will be for these Syrian and Hezbollah units to actually partake, because we're assuming they're not going to cross the border, but they're going to keep a sort of defensive line along it, possibly spacing the artillery so they can at least hit things. So that's their turn. The artillery has moved up. They've only got 1 rocket unit. Okay, so let's move these guys here and prepare that in there. Now he's all moved up now, so we won't be able to fire, but that gives them a nice solid defensive stack. Okay, so we've still got just a fraction more movement left. So that gives us a position there. Okay, still got movement. Okay, so what's he on? Nothing. So, get the artillery back into gear. 0.3. 1.2. That gives us 1.5 on that. Which one of these has been hit? Depression 0, depression 0.45. Let's go for him again. Nothing. So that's them. Only movement 1.2. We can't hit anything. 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you can. Nope, out of range. And this guy here. 1.5, putting it to 1.6. Okay. Oh, I've already moved, have I? Okay. Okay. So that's everything. There's still a line open there which I'd like to close. They don't really have a lot of units, so I sort of did that deliberately to sort of give these sort of ISIS and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham units the scope to sort of evade and move around. But they're not particularly mobile, but it's sort of difficult terrain, and I imagine there'd be a lot of cat and mouse really. So not sure what to make of all of that really. I think to some extent maybe I could do with adjusting some of the Lebanon units, give them a bit more artillery, but I think again it's just going to be another case of just constantly firing artillery at these units. You know, as we saw in that video, that's sort of what I do. It just makes sense to constantly fire artillery, and so that's that really. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy that. If you think you can sort of develop the strategy better, then sign up and give it a whirl. Speak later. Cheers, bye.